how did you get to where you are to be enjoying what you're doing now?
Where have you come from? Roundabout route. I started studying engineering, and it wasn't quite my thing. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of went and studied architecture, which I loved. But by the time I finished architecture, being a bit of a greenie, I found the whole thing a little bit technically corrupt, what I call technically corrupt. And my brain works in a particular way, and I like to see, so try to see results or get results in a particular way that's technically correct, rather than using words or semantics to avoid them. So one particular issue I have with sustainable stuff is that it's used actually as greenwash, or those, it's used as a word to describe an action that isn't that sustainable.
What's a day in the life of Heiko like?
Well, it depends which day you get me.
on average, if we got a week and we squashed it down into a day, what's the sort of stuff?
It depends on the day. I work one day at home a week, which is part of my kind of greenie bent, and I think that's great. That's the really good day because you sleep in. But on a typical day,
now, how's that part of your greenie bent? Because you're not using energy within buildings? Or?
That's correct. I'm lying under the doona and I'm not actually using any energy, so I'm not eating as much food, which has to be transported to my house and uses oil and all that kind of thing. So the best, most sustainable alternative for all of us is just to sleep in.
Right, and just not work. Sounds good.
Exactly. At lunchtime you go for a surf, you use the power of the waves to give yourself enjoyment and you cleanse out your soul. But on the other days, I go to work, I lead a team of 4 people focusing on green design. But now we have like the computing technology to look at how this building would run over like 10-year period, and I can track the internal temperatures, the internal daylighting, and the internal feel of that building over a very long period of time.
If I'm a builder, it's kind of like, I heard you say that you're a greenie. I'm wanting return on investment, and then there's this greenie there wanting to tell me how to design the building. What happens?
Well, there's always going to be a degree of conflict.
Right. And what kinds of conflict have you had?
The general ones is like we build very efficiently, which is good, right? Which is an environmentally very, very good thing to do. Mm-hmm. But we do have an impact on the environment, and to change the mindset with people, I find quite difficult. A lot of the efficiency comes out of repeating what we've done before and not being open to new ideas, and how you bring about that change and bring about those new ideas. A lot of my work is actually just quantifying some very simple things that we all know are good, but putting them, like you say, into cost terms and putting a cost-benefit equation to that.
What about people who are watching this who've got their own home? What is it that they can do in their own environment so that they can save energy?
The easiest way that the average punter can really approach this is to start with their appliances.
Okay.
And
is that the rating thing?
Yes, the rating thing. So you try for the highest ratings. Which is
do you know what I mean when I do the rating thing? The little yellow sticker?
Exactly what you mean. I know what you mean.
Thank you.
That's how effective it is. It does show that we've got to educate in general people with level of information that's easy to understand as one of the key tricks. If we look at our environmental footprint, it's a concept about how much space is required to sustain me as one person. And Australia's environmental footprint is probably about it's the equivalent of if everybody in the world lived like an Australian, you would need 4 planets to sustain our lifestyle. So it's quite substantial. And one of the key ones is actually our landfill and our use of products. So our consumer appetites is quite substantial.
The money? Yeah. That's a great motivator, I think.
I work with a great set of people who are really good fun.
Looking at the kids and seeing that I need to get money for them.
And I'm very passionate about what I do.